What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the No World Order Podcast IG Live Edition. I'm your co-host, Drew.
I am your co-host, Zach.
And we have completely switched things up today.
Yeah, it's kind of fun, though.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's a good little setup. It's like, man, if you actually made this into a little spot, I know you say you have something going on over there, but this wouldn't be a bad little studio spot.
Gotta drive the rats out first, and then we'll see about that.
Yeah.
Hey, and look who's back.
Hey, shout out to Isaiah, Mr. Navy Man, Mr. Seaman himself. How's it going,
How's the
man?
boss?
How is it? How's the boss? How's your new boss?
How's your new boss?
doing?
Joseph R. Biden the third. I don't know what he is.
Just the third. That's Marshall Bruce Mathers the third. He's actually a third.
Are they counting clones? Is that why he's the third?
Oh my god.
I'm just gonna talk shit right away. I'm gonna follow Tom McDonald right down that hill.
Great artist, right?
Great new song. Have you seen the new one?
Which one? Canceled, Fake Woke. He has
Fake
two.
Woke.
Fake Woke, and you gotta listen to Canceled too. But yeah, man, that guy, he has been killing it lately.
Yeah, it's good.
He said he was kind of going through some stuff like over the last month and a half or so prior to putting out these last few songs, because he was like, man, if I do this with the culture that's going on right now, I might be canceled. And he was kind of in this messed up headspace where he was like, I don't know if I should put anything out. He was like really questioning himself, and then he was like, fuck it. And both of these songs have just been popping off for him, just exposing the truth and just telling it like it is. I love it.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. It was a lot of fun. The only thing is, I feel like he switches shit sometimes. Like he says, talks about hating your neighbor because they wear a mask and stay indoors. And I'm like, no. Those motherfuckers hate us for being outside and not wearing a mask. But I think he switches it to like kind of see the other point of view and even get those people in on it a little.
A lot of his prior songs, even, like if you go back through his catalog, a lot of it hits on these hot topic situations, but he tries to kind of give multiple perspectives throughout the songs. So, I mean, I like it. It kind of does give that balance, but I understand what you're saying. It's like, he says there's one thing and there's one part, but then that's kind of not necessarily reality as well. But,
right.
Yeah. I like it. I think he's a great artist. Shout out to Tom McDonald for sure.
I almost feel like his music would go well into being a stand-up comedian, though. Like, all of his songs, I feel like, are just full of one-liners.
Oh,
you know, like every single, like he could just zing anyone with one line of his song randomly, and it's great.
Yeah.
And I don't even really typically like hip hop or rap, but I do now.
Yeah, I know. I remember showing you him probably a few months back, probably 4 something months back now. But yeah, he's pretty consistent with it.
Yeah.
But
good shit.
What did we have to get into today? It's going to be our kind of Valentine's Day episode, but dude, a lot has been going on too. We've been meaning to try and get to it, but we're going to talk maybe a little bit about this Wall Street's bets and this stock market situation going on right now. Valentine's Day and the origins of that, man. I didn't know how dark it was. That's pretty crazy.
It's a fucking trip.
Yeah.
It's a fucking trip, and it just, to me, it just shows that nobody ever knows what they're participating in, ever. Period.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Even then, like, I don't want to spoil it, but even back then, I'm like, did you all know 100% what was up? Or are you just fucking around doing some shit?
Yeah.
No one knows.
No one knows. It's crazy. So where do you want to start? And then, hold on. So I know we also had some other stuff. If we have time, get to it, we might have to cut this one a little bit short, since we started a few minutes late. Joe Biden maybe not being president.
Yeah, maybe we can touch on this and then
dive back into it.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe it should end up being its own episode.
Yeah.
But I've just kind of seen people posting. What's her name? Bree760 a lot actually has posted a lot of them, and Awake Army always is posting shit.
Yeah.
But it seems like there's just been some continuity issues with Biden and how the media is portraying him, of course. So there's a picture of him getting off of a plane. And it's the same picture that was posted 3, 4, 5 years ago, something like that. But they're trying to pass it off as current day.
Yeah.
And okay, media does that. That's one, whatever. But then there's another one of him sitting in a church pew, I believe.
Yeah.
And they're trying to pass that off as current day, but that's a handful of years old as well.
Jeez.
So then there's a few of those, and then the desk at which he's signing his executive orders doesn't really look like the desk that other presidents sign their executive orders at. I don't know. I don't know if it's the Oval Office.
Is he still in the what was they calling it? The office of the president-elect. Remember when he wasn't necessarily president, but they made this like special office for him or whatever? Do you think that could be where he's at doing that?
I don't know if it was.
And then I saw this picture of like where it looks like the walls weren't connected.
That was the other one too.
You know, so I don't know.
And they showed a picture of Biden in that office prior, and the walls were connected.
Weird.
So either it's a fucking earthquake and it perfectly split a little bit down that wall,
Dab it up,
or it's like smoke and mirrors. And somebody else had posted, like when you Google President Joe Biden or whatever, I forgot exactly, but it basically says like the president-elect thing.
Yeah.
Like, and then he broke down the definitions, and it kind of just sounds like, he's playing the role of president until the real president comes back.
That's
like
so
that's what like almost like a president pro tempore is how they use it, I
like
believe, in Parliament.
Kind of
exactly.
Like, yeah.
So what the so then and there was another one too of him
so
getting off, or no, not getting off, but in front of Air Force One, I want to say. But then someone else posted a picture of Trump in front of Air Force One, and it's a completely different fucking plane. And then he didn't get a 21 gun salute when he swore in. And
no, he just said salute the Marines.
Salute the Marines.
I'm like, come on, man.
Fucking puppet. Puppet Joe.
This guy
That's what Fleckus calls him. Puppet Joe.
Yeah, Puppet Joe, the Muppetry. This guy it frustrates me, man. It's like I kind of, I've been busy with getting this job and everything, so I've kind of fallen off of paying attention daily like I was when I had nothing else going on and it was in the height of the political climate and everything like that.
Same.
But it's like I pay attention. It's like, dude, this guy keeps cutting jobs, dude. Thousands and thousands of people's jobs right away. And so many executive orders have been signed, and it's like they called Trump a dictator, but yet he wasn't signing executive orders like that, and people kind of gave Trump a rap for even signing as many as he did. But I'm not hearing anything about Biden and his executive orders, which are just destroying jobs and people's livelihood. You know what I mean? It just drives me crazy. It's just maddening and frustrating.
Wants to take that wall down at the border, but he puts them all up over DC.
Yeah.
Like someone was posting that they talked to like, I think over under like 50 different people in DC the day of the swearing in, and nobody saw or heard anything. And then there was also somebody posting that it looked like there were cuts made during the live inauguration. Like he's being sworn in and there's a lady in pink behind him. And then they zoom out and then it's gone.
No way.
Shoe colors were changing. Like shit was fucking changing here and there. And then someone else had posted that allegedly a bunch of the military was turning their backs on him as he was driving by. That one I don't buy into 100% because number one, like, correct me if I'm wrong, Isaiah, but you don't really have a choice when you're military. Like that's the boss, and that's just how it is. Number one,
the commander in chief, like that's who is in charge.
Commander in thief, because he stole the election.
Yeah.
And then the second part of that is, I grew up in a military family. I know you did too. We grew up on base. I was on base forever. I actually loved it as a kid. But you don't turn your back on your enemy. So that was the other thing. I was like, a little sketch on that. However, even that one aside, there's like fucking half a dozen to a dozen things I've seen where I'm like, where the hell is Joe Biden? I just want to know where no one's been, like, where is he? You know what I mean? Everyone's like, oh, Trump's fucking golfing. Trump's doing this. Cool.
But
where's Joe Biden?
Where is he, though?
Where's the alleged president, dude?
And then you see this video of who knows if it's even her, but then Kamala Harris running the steps at like one of the monuments or whatever. Is like hiring all the Secret Service to surround her and watch over. And there's already been proven video of them sending out a Kamala Harris double, like doing these like campaign events and stuff.
Ooh.
Straight up proven. Like it was her, got confronted about it, and then this like I forget what channel, but they did a breakdown, and it was like it was clearly not her, like 100% not her. And
even with a mask?
Even somebody who wasn't a conspiracy theorist saw it and was like, oh, you might be onto something with that one. Nice. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it was like, yeah. So who knows? Who knows if that was even her in the video running the stairs that I saw this morning?
No,
you know what I mean? It's like, where are these people? Like, for real? That's good question.
And of course, everything makes me a little concerned. But Frederick Leedy was posting that basically FEMA's going to be in charge of everything legally due to some setup that was going on prior to this, but also including Corona. So that's always been a big issue of mine, is FEMA has way too much power for what they are. They shouldn't be doing anything.
Yeah.
But it is a little weird. Like, everything's kind of low right now. Like, yeah, Biden's doing these executive orders and fucking shit up and people losing their jobs. Sure. Nothing's on fire, right? Fucking Antifa started to have anti-Joe Biden protests once he was sworn in, and they fucking squashed that shit quick.
Yeah.
They didn't let it go on for fucking 4 months like they did during the summer.
Exactly.
So, you know, it to me is a good reminder that presidents are selected, not elected, and it's all fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
So,
did you read what Isaiah just said there? They don't even have a picture of him anywhere on this base or at boot camp. They have pictures of the chain of command, but they have yet to put one up of Biden.
ooh, that's a big deal.
That should be a big tell.
That's
that's
big
interesting.
deal. Good catch.
That's very interesting.
I remember being a kid walking into basically every building on fucking base, and they always had, for me, it was like Bush. Like, I remember by the time I was aware, it was George Bush. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was W. So his dumbass face was everywhere. But yeah, fucking, that's interesting.
Yeah.
See, that's just little circumstantial shit I'm talking about.
Exactly.
Like, you tell that to somebody like, oh, they haven't gotten around to doing it. You know,
but
they
that's
explain
something
it away.
that they would do like day one, you know, because that's boss. You know? Like
exactly.
That's the big guy.
Yeah, it's like opening a church and not having Jesus at the front and center. You know, what?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's enough of that. We don't
know
know where Joe Biden is.
I was like, we're gonna end on this, and we ended up starting with it. And it's all good.
It was fun to get out.
Yeah,
get it out.
Just get it out.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, where do you want to start first? Valentine's Day or the Wall Street?
Let's do a little Wall Street.
Wall Street stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So
because I don't have a whole lot on that. I think you kind of tipped me off.
I was into all that, man.
And I was like, oh shit, Drew said something, so I'm gonna buy it real quick.
I'm gonna buy. And then you probably lost some money, so that was my bad. But dude, so okay, when was this? So I have a little timeline here.
Yes, timeline it.
Okay, so this goes back from around, I think a little bit before this, but around December 8, 2020, GameStop reports dismal earnings, and the stock takes a tumble. So in early December, GameStop reports that net sales plummeted in the third quarter of its fiscal year 2020, down more than 30% compared to the same time period in 2019. The retailer attributed this drop in sales to a number of reasons, including the 11% reduction in the store's base. So they were going through things over the last handful of years. Retail is not necessarily what it was. A lot of things have moved to online, you know, so it's kind of shifted away from actual physical stores. So, you know, malls have taken hits. So, and GameStop, you know, retail in general has taken hits. So
brick and mortar stores. They're kind of going the way of the dinosaur.
Exactly.
Having never existed.
Of course, they've, you know, reported down earnings, you know, they've taken hits over these last probably 5 years or so. It's been kind of a constant decline. January 11, 2021, so pretty recent. GameStop appoints 3 new directors to its board, including co-founder of e-commerce giant Chewy. So some good news coming out where Chewy is that dog.
They deliver food stuff to your house.
Food and toys and products. Yeah, like animal products.
I've used them.
And yeah, I get mail for them. I haven't used them yet, but I've got mail from them all the time. So good news coming for them. Seems like maybe, you know, they could be shifting towards an e-commerce presence and all of that. But anyways, January 13th, this is kind of when it gets good. So around that December-ish time, maybe a few months before that, it was trading around like $4 or $5 a share. And on January 13th, 2021, stock surges more than 50%. And the stock closed at $31.40 a share.
Nice.
So that was huge. That was kind of the beginning of it. Many linked the initial push in the Wall Street Bets Reddit forum towards GameStop to an individual investor identified by the Wall Street Journal as Keith Gill, but known on Reddit by a screen named Deep Effing Value, or DFV for short. From my understanding, this guy probably about a year ago put in $50,000 into GameStop and GameStop options, and at the height of it, he was up like $50 million.
Jeez.
And then it dipped, you know, but from understanding, like, he was doing updates, he was still holding. I think now he might be out, but yeah. So there was this big situation going on. So that was the 13th, and
Ching.
Was that when? So around this time, I think it was the 19th. Man, so this is where it kind of gets a little dicey, but the 19th, Citron Research, a stock research firm run by famous short seller Andrew Leff, took aim at those buying GameStop stock in a snappy tweet on January 19th. Shares opened that day at 41.55. So it just, on this Wall Street Reddit, this Reddit community, they were just like going after these hedge funds. So my understanding is these hedge funds were betting on GameStop to fail. And it was like, why wouldn't they? It was like trading at $4 or $5. But how terrible of people to like bet on a company to fail, to make money on a company to go bankrupt, you know?
Yeah, and from what I had read, because I didn't know a whole lot of this stuff, but essentially, highfalutin traders were borrowing stocks from stockbrokers, buying them for, or borrowing them, selling them for less than.
So
they were making a profit off of borrowing it, basically. So yeah, they were counting on it to go down, but they were still making money off of it.
Off of it going down.
Off of it, yeah, they were making money off of it going down. So they're like, cool.
Short selling is what they call it.
Right. And then that was around the time that Reddit was like, hey, yo, if we just fucking buy a bunch of this shit, then they end up basically owing us.
Yeah.
Like, we make money off of them, right?
Yeah. So this is when January 22nd of this year, 2021, GameStop surges another 50% as the tug of war between the everyday investors and hedge funds heated up and support grew for GameStop. The stock skyrocketed more than 50% in the trading session on January 22nd and opened that day at $42.59, and shares closed at $65.01. During the after hours and pre-market trading that weekend, the GameStop continued to climb, and on the 25th, it opened at $96.73. So this was around the time that I got in. I got in initially around $87.
Okay.
And then I saw it skyrocket like crazy. I wish I could have bought more shares at that time, because then it just blew up after that. Then you have Elon Musk tweeting about it and in support of it. And this one hedge fund, Melvin Capital, they lost $3 billion in like one day.
No. Boo-hoo.
But because of that, the next day, Robinhood was the first one who placed limitations on trading for. There was a group of stocks, but GameStop was the main one. AMC,
Nokia,
Nokia, Express, BlackBerry. There was like 5 or 6 of them kind of in there, but GameStop was the main one. But Robinhood halted trading on those like 5, 6, 7 stocks, and you couldn't buy. All you could do is sell. And they came up with some BS excuses. I've listened to a couple interviews with the CEO of Robinhood now, and it's just extremely, extremely frustrated because the hedge funds lost. They lost a lot of money within like a week's time. The people came together and figured out how to do it, and they kind of got a taste of their own medicine, and then they go crying on TV, and we get penalized for it.
Yeah, 100%. And I believe it was around that time that, actually, because you hit me up and told me kind of what was going on. I have 100 other things going on, but I'm like, I saw like enough of it. I'm like, all right, I'm in.
Yeah.
And so I threw a little. I happen to have Robinhood app on my phone just for no reason, really.
Yeah.
I think because of you.
Yeah.
And so I just threw a little at GameStop, and then the next day is when Robinhood halted shit.
Yeah.
Like the fucking next day. And if I remember correctly, part of the excuse basically was like, with the app, you don't necessarily have money in there. You have to transfer it from a bank.
Yeah.
So the guy was like, well, like, the money's not here, so like it's too volatile because the money's not there. So then some guy was like, okay, so you have a problem with liquidity? And he's like, oh, no, that's not it. That's not it. Like, well, it's either it's not one or the other, it's both.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to halt it, then you don't have as much worth as you say you do. But, and it pissed me off because, like, the name of the fucking app is Robin Hood. We're supposed to fucking be Robin the Rich because they fucking stole it from us first, right?
And then you've seen a lot of their, like, ads and stuff over the past years and stuff. They're like, we're making trading accessible for everyone, and we want to stick it to the big guy, and all. And then they're like, partner with them and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like,
that dude just greased his own
partners
pockets
with them.
What's the owner's name?
Of Robinhood.
I feel like Andrew or something
Something
fucking dorky like that.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, he just bought his fucking plate at the Illuminati dinner table for sure. You know, saving all those motherfuckers. You know, he's got a ticket to fucking Elon Musk's Mars colony.
It's so frustrating because, like we just said, on January 25th, it opened at $96.73, and the stock opened on January 27th at a whopping $354.83 a share.
Damn.
So this is so I'll just break it down like this. The hedge funds bought or were borrowing shares at like $4 or $5 a share, betting on it to go to zero, to bankrupt, and they would make that profit from 6 to 0, that $6 or whatever. They would make that $6 on however many shares they have. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now, what they have to do in this situation, they have to pay the difference from that $4 or $5 that they bought in at to that $354.
Right.
So they lost just money after money. Then they kept borrowing with interest, and it was just insane.
Good. Fuck up, dude.
It was insane.
No one told you to borrow that shit to try and make more money when you probably don't even fucking need it.
And this was the most interesting thing, man. Going online, watching videos, it brought everybody together. It put all politics aside. It put everything aside. It like had business owners coming together. It had us like little guys coming together. It had libertarians. It had conservatives. It had it had everybody coming together to kind of take down these big hedge funds. And I've never seen any movement necessarily like that.
Yeah, that was important. It was fun. And I think even though like Robinhood and other apps, I'm sure, halted trading immediately, so therefore kind of stunting it, I think it could have gotten even bigger and more
it would
fun.
have. It would have.
They know. Now they know.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. We're not at the fucking top. And I would venture to guess most of those people on those hedge funds and all that shit are middle-aged to old, you know, just trying to do the same fucking clock in, take some money, clock out, and they don't fucking know that a bunch of fucking kids on the internet basically decided to make stealing or taking their money legally the new fucking video game. And they don't know how to play a video game. You know, they were just outgunned. They're straight up outgunned, and that's why they fucking went and cried to have it stop.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious. It was funny. It doesn't even matter that it's not still going on necessarily. Like
it is, though.
In
other stocks, yes.
What the hell?
So you just have to follow that Wall Street Bets Reddit.
I can't fucking keep up on shit.
No, I know. It's a lot for sure.
This could have happened a year ago when I had nothing to do.
Yeah, I know, right? But, dude, so get this. This is crazy. So one of the stocks that got thrown in the mix of all this was this like penny stock called Sundial, SNDL. And doing my Tuesday morning tokes, I'll do a little plug on that. So hey man, I'm kind of giving little tips on that because I'm reading these articles on stocks because it's something I am truly interested in for about a couple years.
Yeah.
But I read this article that mentioned a couple of these stocks, and if you got in on it, you would have been you'd definitely be up. I got in at Sundial at 50 something cents, and then I dollar cost average up to now 74 cents. And that thing, I got 100 shares of that in one account. That thing's up close to $3 now.
Nice.
And because it got thrown in the mix of this Wall Street Bets thing.
Nice.
I just, you know, that one was a gamble for sure, but it's like I read about it. And I was like, oh, what's this one? It was at 50 cents. So I was like, oh, let me just buy a little bit, you know. But then a month later, it got thrown in the mix of all this, and now it's popping.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna do more of that going forward.
Yeah,
I'm basically done working a 9 to 5. I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
I haven't for years, but now I'm like, it's getting almost like close to attainable, and I'm like, anything I can do to get out.
Yeah,
just be in charge of myself.
I've been making some good gains. I've just been, you know, it's more for the long term. This GameStop AMC thing was a little fun. I had to throw a little money into that, but honestly, GameStop and AMC are both companies I do think will have turnarounds in the long term. In the next like 5 years, you know, they're gonna have to have a comeback.
All they need is to be able to open.
Exactly. Once things
they fucking open and the next Marvel movie goes there, dude.
People are expecting 2022 for like movie theaters to be really good. So if you can start buying in now to AMC, it's trading at like $5. Keep throwing a little bit in when you can. People are probably expecting it to do pretty well in the next like 5 years.
someone told me a long time ago to like buy what you utilize, basically, and I fucking love AMC.
Yeah.
So, like I love movies, even though
Exactly.
they're all fucking occult programming. And I like going to AMC.
Yeah.
That's my free plug AMC.
Speaking of that, though, dude, so on January 31st, Deadline reports a Hollywood movie deal based on this entire GameStop situation.
That's why
They're
happened.
making a movie about the whole thing
Oh my God.
that happened. That whole week and a half, 2-week situation that went down. They're making a full-on movie about that.
That's
Go
really
watch
funny.
it in AMC.
Go watch it. Could you imagine? That'd be fucking great.
But make sure you stop
Did
at
you-
GameStop first.
I know, right? I'm like, I'm gonna play video games. I'm gonna go to GameStop, get an air freshener. Did you get any dog coin? Are you down for
Dogecoin.
that dog coin?
Dude, so fuck. fuck.
Missed
Dude.
up.
Boy, did I. I had that a year and a half ago. When
Really?
it was trading under a penny.
No.
And then I bought like $10 of it, made $7. Oh, cool, I'll sell out. Fuck, if I would have held on to that like
Wow.
100 shares that I had of Dogecoin.
Wow.
Fuck, you live and
You know
learn.
what? I had some Bitcoin I got rid of after a while because
Oh,
ain't
shit.
nothing was happening with
Oh
it.
no.
And I don't remember how many shares, but it was a good amount and it fluctuated quite a bit. It like doubled at
Yeah.
one point. It was in half at one point, and then it got
Yeah.
back to like what I had invested. And I was like,
Oh, let's just get
I
out.
think I forgot what was going on. Like there's something going like a wedding or I don't know. And I was like, nah, fuck it. I'll just take it out, whatever. And yeah, because Elon Musk was pumping Dogecoin, and
Dogecoin,
then he was
yeah.
fucking pumping Bitcoin. I'm like, are you just
Yep.
playing these two against each other and using us as pawns to fucking drive up the prices of both?
No, he
or-
believes. So, do you understand cryptocurrency?
as it
it's a
exists right now, yes,
decentralized
but I don't know how it's gonna
Currency.
play into the future.
So I don't know. I think it's pretty awesome. It's just instantaneous transactions between people that doesn't use government.
Yeah,
Doesn't use government. It's
Yeah.
like, hey, I want to send you $20 here. Here's $20 in Bitcoin right now. There's no trace of it. Government has
Yeah.
no idea what that was used for. There's
Right.
no tracking it, anything like that. So it's the future of currency, and now you're seeing government want to make their own cryptocurrency,
Yeah.
but it's like, you're missing the point. It's to be away from you guys. That's why Bitcoin, all these other coins are popular, is because they are not government affiliated. But now you're
Right.
seeing all these government sponsored coins trying to pop up, and they're not gonna do anything because it's taking the soul out of what the cryptocurrency is. But I think it's gonna be the future. You just saw Elon Musk put $1.5 billion of
Yeah.
Tesla's cash reserve into Bitcoin just yesterday. And then Bitcoin had a crazy surge and a crazy spike. So it is extremely volatile, but I think there's a lot of potential for a lot of growth.
I think I got a little.
Did you?
I know.
Are you up?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I saw Gene Simmons got it. And I was like, yo, what? I was like, if Gene Simmons is putting money into it, I'm in.
Yeah.
Shout out Awoke Army, keeping me updated on Dogcoin.
Yeah.
I know he's all in on it.
That's funny because, dude, Robinhood used to be so awesome because when I first downloaded it when you could trade crypto on there, you still can. But on the crypto platform, there used to be this little interface where you could live chat with people. It would be like a forum. So that's probably where all the Reddit people were and all that.
Mhm.
Because that's how I heard about Dogecoin and all that from like a year and a half, 2 years ago. I was like, oh, what is this?
Really?
Yeah, it was everybody was all stoked on it. They're like, it was the meme stock before the meme stock. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they were like trying to pump it. It would gain like a half a penny, and they'd be like, hey, to the moon, and then
That
it's like,
fucking saying.
yeah, the rockets. Oh my gosh, it drives me crazy. Some of the lingo within the within the market drives me
know.
crazy.
To the moon.
But
Okay.
it's interesting stuff for sure.
To the firmament. So do you want to try to cover some Valentine stuff?
Yeah, let's get into it. What do you have? What
I have
do
a
you
whole bunch
got?
of shit, but I think I start with an overview and then kind of delve in a little bit.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, going backward in time, I would guess, in the okay, Valentine's Day was more popularized in the 1800s by a female. Go figure. And then before that, it was basically the end result of the Catholic Church, if I'm not mistaken, replacing what used to be a pagan holiday over in Rome. So Catholic or Christian?
Catholic.
I always blame the Catholic. We'll blame them. So the Catholic Church was taken over in
But
Rome.
the Christians are thrown in here somewhere. I
Of
read their
course,
names somewhere.
You gotta demonize the Christians, or else it's not America.
Yeah,
So-
see, others claim that the Christian church may have decided to play. Yeah.
Weird. Others
But
claim
it's-
there's nothing on it either.
No,
It's just
but
like
the
this is
Catholic
fucking-
Church
Yeah.
says right there.
Catholic Church is evil, so we're gonna blame them. We're gonna blame them for everything. So the Catholic Church was in charge. There was this celebration. And side note, I like how all these old celebrations were for like 3 fucking days. Like, I think we should bring that back. You know, like we were talking about original Thanksgiving was 3 days, and
Yeah.
then Lupercalia was 3 days. I
Yeah.
like the 3-day thing. I think it takes the stress off of having a 1-day holiday.
1 day, yeah, pile it all
just
into
fucking
1
make
day,
it 3
yeah.
days, and like
Yeah.
I'll see you at some point within those 3 days.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a celebration, whatever. So Lupercalia was going on in Rome. Catholic Church takes over, and they're like, "Yo, we're not about this Lupercalia. It's super duper pagan. We're out on it, so we're just gonna get rid of it." And then sometime later, they make Valentine's Day or Saint Valentine's Day pretty much in its place. I think because they were just like, "Well, these people are used to celebrating. They're pissed we took it away. Let's just replace it with something Catholic." And one of the people that went by Valentine was a priest who was marrying young couples when he wasn't supposed to be, for whatever reason. The
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
king was all upset about it, and he was marrying people in secret, got caught. He was kept captive, of course. He was kept in jail, kept captive by the king at the time. The king actually liked him, befriended him. They were chill, and then Valentine tried to convert him to Christianity, and the king took his fucking head off. So that was where most recent Valentine's Day comes from. But going back a little more and seeing how the Catholic Church got rid of Lupercalia and going into what Lupercalia means, I think is kind of where we get more interesting. You know what I mean? And
What does
now-
it mean?
It's a great question. I don't know the actual fucking meaning of the name, but I do know there was a okay, hold on. Let me go over. I'll just do a little bit of an overview of what I can remember from reading everything. Lupercalia was a 3-day celebration that took place mid-February, of course. And during Lupercalia, it was basically a pagan fertility celebration, just like Easter was. So they would have nobles at the time, like the younger male nobles, like fucking high-class people, none of those fucking ditch-digging people. They would have them go into the cave with these priests, these Lupercalian priests, and these priests would kill some animals, kill a few goats,
Yeah.
torture a puppy, and then they would drench these naked noble boys in the blood. They would wipe it off with some dead sheep's wool, and they would. Part of the ritual was also for the boys to basically laugh like they were enjoying it, which is really fucking twisted.
Yeah.
And then these naked noble boys would take dead skin from the animals that were sacrificed as like a hide, basically, and they would run through the town fucking beating women and men alike, mostly women. And if you got hit, like if you were a woman and you got hit by this fucking naked dude covered in blood and milk, then you were supposed to be allegedly more fertile. So these women would stand around with their asses out pretending like they didn't want to get hit, but really they were trying to get hit because it means they would probably be more fertile. It's a very fucking twisted thing. Also during Lupercalia, they would have basically like a swingers fest. They would enter their names on a tablet. It sounds like a fucking key party. The females would put their names on tablets, and the males would draw a tablet out, figure out, you know, who you get with, and then for the rest of the festival, you were with that chick. And they were just fucking. It was a big old pagan fucking fertility festival. So they were swinging, they were beating each other, there was fucking animal sacrifices, which is fucking weird.
Yeah.
And this is actually the point of time, I don't know what year exactly, but during a Lupercalia celebration is when, who was it that killed Caesar? Brutus? I believe it was.
Sounds familiar. Yeah.
No, Mark Antony. Mark Antony was the one that allegedly came and like told Caesar that he was going to be king. But it was during Lupercalia, and like if you look, I guess at writings, it says that Caesar was like watching the celebrations of Lupercalia when Mark Antony came up to him to tell him like, hey, like you're getting the Iggy, you're gonna get the title. There you go, you're moving up. But it's very clear that Caesar was watching the celebrations, the festivities of the time, and Mark Antony was a young nobleman. So we can infer from that that Mark Antony came up to Caesar naked, dripping in sheep's blood and milk, having just whipped a bunch of fucking strange women, and was like, "Hey, dog, you're gonna be king next. Cool, cool." Like
That's
just
crazy.
yeah. They don't tell you that in fucking high school when you're reading Caesar.
No,
and
they do not.
It was interesting. It was an interesting time. Something that I already was semi familiar with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then of course Caesar was killed during the Ides of March, which is mid-March, as opposed to mid-February, where the Lupercalia takes place. So they had a bunch of weird rituals like that. And what's really funny is delving into different readings. It kind of seems like the priests that were doing these rituals with these naked boys in the cave didn't even really know where it came from. Like the writings they had that they were referring to were so old that they didn't really know like where they had started. They didn't really know what it was praising, or why we're killing a puppy, or why the naked boys covered in sheep's blood have to laugh while we're doing it. They all just kind of went along with it. One of the stories that I guess it was partially based on was Greek mythology. Hercules had a mistress. He was all down for her. They were running around town doing it and everything, having a good old time. And Faunus, who was a pagan god, I believe he was a horned individual with cloven hooves, was like, "Ooh, Herc's chick. Yeah, I need to get Hercules' chick. That's my chick." And they didn't write letters, and they didn't fucking send silent DMs or anything like that. He just snuck into her room and was trying to fucking bang her in the middle of the night. This little horned deity guy. But I guess Hercules was dressed or covered in his mistress's clothes. So this little horned dude goes in to try and rape this chick, ends up grabbing Hercules' schlong, right? And then it's like, "Oh, fuck." And then Hercules is like, "Hi, like, you're kind of an idiot. Get the hell out of here." And that was the end of that. But allegedly, the horned god trying to grab the chick but actually grabbing Hercules is where some of the whipping comes from Lupercalia. So that was like one kind of tie-in that they think it came from. But Faunus is actually the counterpart of Pan, another horned god, and it all just it basically falls under the pagan rituals and fertility rituals. But it was kind of unclear at the time why they were doing what they were doing, but they were all going along with it, which is kind of what I was saying in the beginning. Like, it's so funny that people just go along with everything, do whatever, and they don't really know where
What's
it came
going
from,
on,
what it means, what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if you got anything else on that, but that was kind of the overview.
That was, I mean, you kind of hit basically all of it. I mean, it says the Catholic Church recognizes at least 3 different saints named Valentine or Valentinus, all of whom were martyred. One legend contends that Valentine was a priest who served during the 3rd century in Rome. When Emperor Claudius II decided that single men made better soldiers, so this is the one who was like marrying people continually. And then there was another one that says still others insist that it was Saint Valentine of Turini, a bishop who was the true namesake of the holiday. He too was beheaded by Claudius II outside of Rome.
They just take people's heads at the drop of a hat back then.
No. Other stories suggest that Valentine may have been killed for attempting to help Christians escape harsh Roman prisons where they were often beaten and tortured. According to one legend, in a prison, Valentine actually sent the first Valentine greeting himself after he fell in love with a young girl, possibly his jailer's daughter, who visited him during his confinement. Before his death, it is alleged that he wrote her a letter signed "From your Valentine," an expression that is still used today. All this is kind of unclear. It's not true if it's, true, but yeah. But then it says origins of Valentine's Day is a pagan festival in February. So yeah, you kind of just hit on it all. It says some believe that Valentine's Day is celebrated in the middle of February to commemorate the anniversary of Valentine's death or burial, which probably occurred around AD 270. Others claim that the Christian Church may have decided to place St. Valentine's feast day in the middle of February in an effort to Christianize the pagan celebration of Lupercalia.
Yep.
Celebrated at the Ides of February or February 15th. Lupercalia was a fertility fertility festival. Sorry. Dedicated to Fanus, the Roman god of agriculture, as well as to the Roman founder Romulus and Remus. So,
Okay, pause right there. Yeah, that was the horn god that I was talking about that allegedly was trying to get Hercules' mistress, but ended up grabbing some dong instead. And you touched on Romulus and Remus.
yeah.
So they were born. Their mom was like up royalty. The dad was king. When they were born, they were twin boys. When they were born, the dad was like, "Ooh, this doesn't look good for me. Like they're gonna come for my fucking throne." Cast them out. So basically, they put them in a river to die. But then the god of the river, or one of the gods of the river, I can't remember his name, doesn't matter, found them and was like, "Oh, what's up with these fucking little babies?" And then a she-wolf. This is Greek mythology. It's all fucked up. Then a she-wolf, literally a wolf, nursed the boys to keep them alive, which is fucking. It's gotta be kind of bestiality, right? Like, that's weird.
Yeah.
That's fucking weird. I think it's a metaphor for the wolf being evil, so the boys are just raised by evil, but that's, I guess, a separate subject. So she's taking care of them, and then this local farmer by the name of, wait for it, hold on, where is his name? I want to get it right. Faustulus. So they were adopted by this farmer named Faustulus, and they weren't told of their actual origins. They found out later, and all hell broke loose. One of them died, one of them ascended to the throne, a bunch of other people. But they were raised by a wolf mom and a farmer named Faustulus. And Faustulus is funny because it reminds me of Faustine. Like it sounds like it's familiar. And Faustine Bark, of course, has been making deal with the devil to survive. So it seems like there's a lot of metaphor in these Greek mythologies. I'm sure that's true. But that's kind of where that part of the story goes. And those two boys, where they were found and nursed to health by the she-wolf, is like the beginning of Rome. So that, and of course, Rome is where Lupercalia was from.
Yeah.
So that seems like another point of origin for the Valentine story, going pretty far back.
Yeah. Lupercalia survived the initial rise of Christianity, but was outlawed as it was deemed unchristian at the end of the 5th century when Pope Galatius declared February 14th St. Valentine's Day. It was not until much later, however, that the day became definitively associated with love. During the Middle Ages, it was commonly believed in France and England that February 14th was the beginning of birds' mating season. That's interesting, which added to the idea that the middle of Valentine's Day should be a day for romance. The English poet Geoffrey Chaucer was the first to record St. Valentine's Day as a day of romantic celebration in his 1375 poem, Parliament of Fowls, writing, "For this was sent on St. Valentine's Day, when every fowl cometh there to choose his mate." Man, a lot of old English in that. But that's so interesting because listening to, just side note real quick, listening to 1984 by George Orwell, there's a big talk about how they try and change language and kind of get rid of, old speak. And it's like reading some of just, how long ago was this? 1375. So a long time ago, but in the grand scheme of time, not that long ago. And it's like, I'm having trouble understanding what that is saying. You know what I mean? So it's like they're already doing a good job at removing speech and old speak. And pretty soon, like, we're not even going to be able to communicate. It's gonna be crazy.
I think it's going back to hieroglyphics. Like they're just called emojis now.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
How people do it.
Yeah.
Like
and we write them on walls, on people's walls.
Oh,
and
it's a trip because I remember actually fucking paying attention in school, and like learning grammar and syntax and sentence structure and punctuation, and it all just made sense to me. That was like the only thing that did make sense to me in school. But I learned all that stuff, and then watching it deteriorate over social media. Like when social media started, people had pretty decent grammar, there's punctuation, and then like over the years, it's terrible. Like you can't even read half of what people write. And I'm like, you have Google. Like you're posting this on a fucking phone. Like just make sure you're spelling the words right. What the fuck are you doing? Anyway, but no, that is an interesting point. That it's almost like they're trying to make us ignorant again.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because like we all back in the days of the serfs, and they didn't know how to read. Now it's what kept them fucking shoveling shit in the kings of the castle. Right. Now we can all read. but they're trying to fucking still
change language and
Yeah.
definitions and make that all fluid. So then
Right.
it's like, wait,
block our
what?
Reddit forums and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. One more thing about Valentine's Day, and then we'll kind of wrap it up here. But this little figure is associated with Valentine's Day. Cupid. What's up with Cupid? Do you know anything about it? Or
You know, I didn't even get to that.
Okay, because I have a little
think I had
breakdown
one
right here,
little
so.
thing, but go ahead.
Yeah, it says Cupid is often portrayed on Valentine's Day cards as a naked cherub, launching arrows of love at unsuspecting lovers, but the Roman god Cupid has its roots in Greek mythology as the Greek god of love, Eros. Accounts of his birth vary. Some say he is the son of Nyx and Erebus, others of Aphrodite and Ares. Still others suggest he's the son of Iris and Zephyrus, or even Aphrodite and Zeus, who would have been both his father and grandfather. According to the Greek
He's his own grandpa.
According to the Greek archaic poets, Eros was a handsome immortal, played with the emotions of gods and men, using golden arrows to incite love and leading one to sow aversion. It wasn't until the heliocentric period that he began to be portrayed as the mischievous, chubby child he'd become on Valentine's Day cards.
Fucking heliocentrism, just ruining everything.
Christianity ruining the same thing. Yeah, so that's what I had on Cupid. That was just a brief little. I didn't know. Of course, it all goes back to mythology, man.
Which, like,
it always does. So
think,
interesting.
Yeah, and like being the Christian, I guess the Christian on the show. I guess.
Yeah.
There's two of us. They talk about how a third of the angels fucking fell from heaven in rebellion, and I'm like, so are all these fucking gods that Greek mythology and shit are talking about? Are these just the fucking
fallen?
Yeah, because they had all these powers and all. Like,
yeah.
I don't think anything is not true.
Okay.
I think it all fucking fits together. I think it all fits together, and we just argue over what names to call it.
That's where I get so confused about that Greek mythology, Roman mythology, all that stuff. I'm like,
dude, have you seen like the grass? They portray
it like it happened, but it's like it didn't happen, but it feels like it could have happened. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's so fascinating to me. I get so confused with all those time periods because the way they document it, they feel like the way they portray it and write about it, it's real to them. You know what I mean? But it's like us looking back on it now, it's like that's all like just made up bullshit. But it's like the way they talk, it feels real. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I always get confused about the mythology.
Maybe it is real on some plane. Maybe like you hear like some of the stories the natives talk about, and like, oh God, what is it? The Crater Lake in Oregon. They have this the natives have this big story about how like these gods were fighting and then fucking thrown down and exploded. Like, it sounds like fucking Transformers, the movie, right?
Yeah.
But I'm like, maybe they were just fucking like high up peyote and like experiencing some shit like on a different fucking plane, but right here.
Yeah.
So they see shit we don't see, and so like that's their explanation. Whereas our explanation nowadays is whatever science tells us, right? You know, like that's what we think. But we can't see the fucking atoms being moved around and shit. Like that exists on a plane, sure, but we don't see it.
Yeah, I go so back and forth with that mythology stuff. It's like I believe in it one time. It's so interesting. It just fascinates me. It always has, man. And it's like reading like the Odyssey and stuff. I'm like, was this real or was it not? You know what I mean? It's like that whole time period it just trips me out.
It's almost like subjective. Like if it's real to you, then it exists. And if it's not, then it's not for you.
Yeah, exactly. It's really interesting.
It is. It's pretty fucking cool. I was also one last little thing. I was reading that by the time the Catholic Church came around, we're like, hey, we're fucking getting rid of Lunar holiday, everyone. People were like, what the fuck? That's our holiday. And the guy, like, the fucking Pope at the time was like, okay, cool. So like, you guys want to go like run around naked, like dripping in blood and milk? And they're like, nah, we're good. It's like, okay, cool. Well, then I'm getting rid of it. So that is a little interesting that I always just assumed it was like the most popular holiday, and then the fucking Catholic Church gets rid of it and everyone acquiesces. But it had kind of lost some steam, and no one really did a lot of the rituals anyway. I think they just like 3 days of drinking, to be honest.
So they were like, oh, we're getting rid of this holiday, and they were like, no, and they were like, oh,
okay, well then go do it. And
they're like, nah.
It said like he asked like, okay, who's gonna do it then? And like no one was volunteering.
Signed up.
So some shit changed already where they were like, nah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, it is. I think that was mostly it. Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of.
I didn't read any of my shit. I kind of just spouted off of memory, but it was pretty close to what I think what I had written down.
No,
so.
that was all good. Yeah, I kept kind of following with what I had up. I was like, oh yeah, he's hit that. He's hit that. I'm like, okay, your times are pretty good too. So
it's fun that it overlaps with Julius Caesar. Because that's the story we all kind of know. And
yeah.
Like I think historians agree that it actually happened. I might be making that part up.
I think there's some. I wouldn't
they didn't
doubt
have
that there's a
wings and fly
conspiracy theory about that one.
Well, killing
but...
Julius was a conspiracy. Right?
Yeah,
I mean, he was fucking framed by goat blood, naked, running around Mark Antony, I believe.
Yeah.
And Brutus.
Yeah.
Craziness.
There's always.
Now I want to do a Greek mythology show. That should be another.
Well, I mean, I feel like we were kind of getting into that when we were hitting all the cryptoids and all the creatures and all that, because a lot of that dealt with, that time period and the sirens and all that kind of stuff. But
until
we'll definitely have to continue along with it, because it is a topic to me that is just so fascinating. I never know if it's true or not true. And just reading about it, it's on the fucking history, like history.com, like historychannel.com, like they talk about it like it's history, like it's real, you know what I mean? So it's like yeah, exactly. So it's fake. But that's what I'm saying. I get so confused about it because of things like history, presenting it as real, even though it might not be, so it's like, it's really confusing, but it is a fascinating topic to me for sure. But we're kind of at that time where I think you had to start closing it up, so we kind of hit everything.
I think so.
Yeah.
So takeaways. No one knows where Joe Biden is, or if he's actually president.
Yeah. Is he still just president-elect?
I think so.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'll definitely have to look into that, because that's really interesting. Because if it's not the same office, because how many times did we see that office that Trump was in? Like,
we're doing side by side.
It doesn't look
the right
the same.
Place or off, and like, I understand shit changes, but then the
remodel.
walls are falling apart, and and then people are like looking out of the window, and like on former presidents, you see trees outside
yeah,
the
like
window.
Green, I think. Yeah.
And then Biden's, you see a parking lot.
What?
Is it photoshopped? I don't know. Is it real? I don't like. What is he just awaiting a fucking nuclear bomb, so he's underground, and this is all photo sets to throw us? I don't know. But things to take away. Where is Joe Biden? Know what stocks to buy. Go on
Listen
Reddit.
to Tuesday Morning Tokes. You'll hear those cannabis stocks for sure.
I legit take it. Pull the crib back for a second. I actually really try to listen to that show to learn more about weed and about just what I swear to God
what's going on.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Like, it's weird because we do this together. I could just talk to you, but I'm like listening to the fucking show.
That's cool.
And then Valentine's Day, just like every other major holiday, is
there's some
pagan fucking weird sacrificial origin.
Yeah.
So enjoy that when you buy your Valentine's cards.
Your
and little tiny
hearts
candies
and candy heart.
Yeah. Or maybe you do. Maybe you do want to whip your significant other. I don't know. And get them pregnant. Hey, that's fine.
Hey. It's the holiday for it, I guess.
3 days. I just say bring it back to 3 days. Fuck the 1 day.
That's a lot of 50 Shades of Grey
going on.
That's
a lot of quipping.
It's a lot of BDSM going on.
You sprinkle it in. You just sprinkle it in throughout the day. Yeah, you don't do it just that night.
Throughout the day.
Yeah, just throughout the day. Just have some lunch and then whip her a little.
Some lunch and tie you up a little bit.
Yeah, a little afternoon delay.
Throw some milk on you. Almond milk, though.
Almond milk.
Can't be that goat's.
No. It'll be beet juice instead of blood from a puppy. Beet juice and almond milk.
Sounds like a snack now.
Sounds like an indie band.
Beet juice and almond milk.
Yeah, they're performing at Indie Jam next year.
Who are you? Are you beet juice or I'm almond milk?
Are you almond milk?
Yeah,
okay, I'll be beet juice. Yeah. I inhale almond milk, but I will be beet juice for this.
Yeah, because I don't fuck with beet.
You don't fuck with beet juice? I get it. I'll be beet juice.